Since the last time you saw me, some pretty significant changes have happened. I'm no longer doing the hungry. That's a whole other story that I'll get into another time. What has happened in the interim is that I'm completely reconfiguring my life. That's not a minor thing. What that really means is that I'm in this new phase where I'm just gonna make whatever I want because I feel like I've earned it. Again, that's a whole other story that I'll get into in another video, but the reality is that I need more space. I don't need more space. I need the right space. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I reconfigured this space recently, but when I did it, it wasn't working for me. I've spent less time in the studio in the last year than I have ever, and so we're gonna have to do something about that. And it starts with a trip to Home Depot. Let's go. To get there the fastest, I should go left here and then right up the hill. That would be the fastest route. Instead, I'm taking the scenic route. We're going up and over the hill. It takes longer, but it's worth it. I don't want to get out because it's raining and I'm not properly dressed for it, but look at this. It's about relishing in the little things, you know? I love this city. So I'm going to Home Depot because I want to buy a couple of things. I need to get a new drill because mine isn't working very well anymore. And I need to get a shop vac. Not super exciting, but hey, let's make the most of it. Because I own a Toyota pickup truck now, I feel like I need to do more truck-oriented things, like carry equipment. And it's not why I'm doing it, but, you know, it makes me want to do it more. So I'm looking at these desks back here, and it makes me think if there's one other thing that I need to get. I need to get some casters for my table. I didn't film inside. Got a little bit of weird looks just with the camera. Got the casters, got the shop vac, and I got this drill. It's all wet, but I got this drill driver combo. It's probably more than what I needed, but I'm at this stage in my life where I think more tools is necessary now. So, I recently stumbled across a channel called Cinedrome with a guy by the name of Dave Fogler. Dave is a creative guy. He's also very handy and he's built a lot of things, and a lot of his videos recently have all been about how he has reconfigured his workspace to be more efficient, more clean, more safe. I went down this rabbit hole with his content and I was immediately just transfixed. And I was thinking to myself like, okay, I may not be as adept with woodworking and making things as Dave is. I can be. I've got tools. But like I said, I want to redo this whole space in order to accommodate all the things that I want to make. And some of the things that I want to make are for the space. But I have a laundry list of things that I want to do here. And so I thought maybe we could talk about that. So let's take a tour. First, I want to start with this bench right here because initially, this was a place to work, and I have done work on this, but for the most part, it has become a place where stuff just stacks. It's like a holder of junk and tools. I do work on here, but mostly it just holds the camera and, you know, to face my direction when I'm standing in the room. But I want it to be a little bit more functional, especially with all the projects that I want to do, which, like, again, we're gonna talk about another time. The thing about the table is that it's not easy to sit at. You can see it's got a shelf down here. Well, that gets in the way when I try to lean in. Also, I have a stool that I bought specifically to sit next to this thing, but because of the height of the stool and this thing, what I end up doing is smashing my knees into it more than anything else. Third, it doesn't move around very well. It's very well planted and it's heavy. So I bought these so that I can go ahead and just, you know, move it around. By the way, I'm going to apologize right now for this. Number one, this place being a real mess, and number two, bad lighting in a lot of these shots because there's only so many places I can put these lights right now. If I'm hot, okay? All right? This wall isn't doing enough. It's holding up this piece of art, which I like, but it's not doing enough. It needs to have more stuff. Also, I have my art right here, stacked up in a very, not a great way. I want to find a new way to store the art that's a little bit better for the art, or, you know, maybe find a completely different place to put it. I don't know what that means yet, but this isn't doing enough either. Let's talk about the storage. We have plenty of storage. In fact, some of it isn't being well used, which is a point of order. 4 big shelves that can store stuff, and I'm not using that very efficiently either. All right, let's talk about all the stuff on the floor. Some of this stuff has been sitting here way too long. I've got a saw over here that I need to put away, do something with. I've got this chair, which I kind of use mostly, well, to sit in, but not to do work in. I've got this board, which has been sitting here like this. I had an intention of doing a class and using that board, but I think I hate this thing, which sucks because it was very expensive. I've got this stuff down here, and then there's a fan, and there's just things on the ground. The elephant in the room is this crack. It's a major problem, and it goes all the way from that side of the room to that side of the room, and it needs to be fixed. And this is probably my #1 priority. There's a lot of cobwebs up there. Speaking of that, let's talk about the rafters. Okay, so there's 3 of these rafters like this, and none of them are to code. In fact, they didn't even belong in here. This house has been around since 1920. This garage came with the house, of course. That's how garages work usually. This didn't belong here, and if you were to see the walls, you could see that somebody just cut into the drywall and put this in here because they probably wanted a way to store stuff up here. These are pine 1x4s, and they're not very structurally sound. In fact, look at how much they move. That can't be safe. I don't think it would hold much more than what's up here, which is these grates, which could make for good storage, but I really only put them up there to get them out of the way, because they were down here. Ideally, I'd like to replace these rafters and kind of make this more into a storage area up here. But if I do that, then I'm gonna lose access to this light, so we're gonna have to deal with that too. This hot mess right here is protecting what is a broken glass pane right on the other side of this window. Not on the other side of the window. The actual window is broken. I'm risking my shins right now because there's a rose bush directly below me, but as you can see, broken window. Yeah, and then there's this. This needs to be repaired too. It's rainy season and I need to fix that. Now that I've completely discombobulated my filming and lighting setup, I hope I got things back to a good shape. Anyway, let's talk about the list, okay? Fix the window, fix the crack, update the workbench, reconfigure the layout, rethink the floating storage, tool wall, somewhere, project board, which would be projects of the things that I'm working on, plus maybe these projects too. Establish filming position so I don't have to keep moving everything around. Lighting setup, reimagine the entire wall space because I'm definitely not using it well enough. Reinforce the rafters, rafter storage, drop light, barn door. That's a big problem that I didn't talk about. It's literally stuck and will not open right now because of how the whole thing is shifted because of the crack. Fix the side door, which is also a little sticky, but at least I can get out. New rain gutter, cover for the side area, which is actually where I put all my garden tools and everything. It used to have a cover over it, but I got rid of it because it was also bad, so I had to get rid of it. So I need to redo it so that it's protected from, the elements. Sort through all the current storage, consolidate, eliminate some sort of label and reorganization on it, repair and paint the walls, and then create a switch panel for all the outlets. I've got 5 outlets in this place, 1 in each corner and 2 over in that one. And I want to, be able to come in here and flip all the lights on or some of the lights on at once instead of having to go turn that light on, turn this light on, turn that light on, turn that light on. I would just want to be able to have a place where I can just go blip, 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 blip. Anyway, so that's all the projects that I want, and that's just the workshop projects. There's all the different creative projects that I want to get into, but first things first, let's get into this and really dig in and do some cool stuff. Before I can even do any of that, I need to clean it up and get this crack fixed. That's priority #1. That's why I bought this, because I need to vacuum out all the junk out of the crack so that I can go ahead and put more cement in there and get it solidified so that I can roll things around on here without getting stuck. If you're into watching me do that, and then also talk about creative projects and things I'm working on, stick around. And until next time, watch this one.